So, in case you haven't caught on to this now, the federal government and the president are outlawing free speech, unless you're a conservative. Because remember, Donald Trump, the head of the federal government, had his FCC put pressure on ABC and Disney to cancel Jimmy Kimmel because he doesn't like him. Jimmy Kimmel didn't even say anything bad or horrible. And then Brendan Carr at the FCC said, "We're not done yet suppressing free speech." But Brian Kilmeade over on right wing Fox Entertainment goes on and says that we should give lethal injections to homeless people, and he's just like, "Oops, my bad," and he gets to keep his job. Absolutely no outrage whatsoever. But Trump also announced that he's going to designate Antifa as a major terror organization, which is not even really possible because Antifa is not an organization. This is his way of making it so that if anybody peacefully protests against his government, he can declare them as Antifa and he can go after them with the military. This is his way of making peaceful protesting illegal, which once again, people like me were saying well before November that he was going to do. But once again, it needs to be pointed out that Antifa just means anti-fascist. So if you're saying that an anti-fascist group is a terror organization, you are admitting that you yourself are a fascist. But now Trump and his followers have a very organized disinformation campaign over on places like Twitter, where they're showing things like symbols of people throwing away a swastika and saying that it's actually a hate symbol, showing the resist fist and saying that it stands for black power and black terrorism. They're just taking peaceful resisting symbols from people on the left and claiming that they are somehow communist or terrorist. And just like even Tucker Carlson admitted, Trump and his people are using the death of CK as a way to blame the radical left political violence, even though once again, his alleged shooter is a conservative. But once again, let's just look at how blatantly false this fucking accusation is. If you go to the Anti-Defamation League's website where they do extensive research on extremism, most of the murders in 2021 were committed by right-wing extremists, which is usually the case. And in 2023 and 2024, 100% of extremist murders were done by white supremacists and right-wingers. Most of the 2021 murders were committed by people associated with extremist movements like white supremacy, the sovereign citizen movement, QAnon, and toxic masculinity. All conservative groups, ladies and gentlemen. White supremacists unalived more people in 2021 than any other type of extremist. The DOJ and the NIH have a report going back 35 years to 1990 showing that far-right extremists are responsible for over 10 times as many deaths as the left. But let's do more recent history. Since 2016, when Trump showed up, right-wing extremists have committed 336 unalivings. The left wing, about 5. This is why people in the MAGA keep trying to pretend every time one of their own murders or assaults somebody that it's somehow somebody on the left, because they refuse to take responsibility for how fascist the conservatives have become. Anytime something happens, even if it's their own side versus their own side, they try somehow to blame the Democrats. And with Trump and his FCC putting pressure on people to cancel those that speak out against them, this is the federal government punishing people for exercising their First Amendment. It is blatantly unconstitutional. And by Trump trying to designate Antifa as a major terror organization when they're not even an organization in the first place, it is him stating that anybody who speaks out against him and his regime is committing a crime.